Hi, Frank Alexander here, just with a couple of great tools that we use in the industry. I want to start today with just some regular electronic tools that every technician needs to have and can't really live without. First, I'm going to start with the digital psychrometer. This tool measures the indoor and outdoor temperature, and this is both the wet bulb and the dry bulb temperature. This is very useful in determining humidity, load on the system, that sort of thing. So what you want to do with this is measure the dry bulb temperature on the outside for your ambient temperature, and also have it sit inside next to the return to get your wet bulb temperature so that you can measure the temperature difference with the humidity factor built in. Have to have this as an AC tech. There's no way to charge a system without knowing your wet bulb temperature for your fixed bore orifice systems. Gotta have it, must have. Second tool I like to use is a infrared thermometer. Shoots a laser beam out, measures the temperature of the registers. This is especially handy when you're looking at temperature registers for ceiling registers that you can't get to, where your regular thermometer or psychrometer can't reach. Perfectly good for measuring your delta T. Uh, Also a handy tool to determine, if you got different load issues going on between different registers. So another tool got to have, especially doing the HVAC air conditioning part during the summer. Um, Finally, the third tool that I always carry with me is my Fieldpiece multimeter. This is going to tell me with various settings on here what's going wrong with the system. It'll measure your voltage in AC. It'll measure your amps and current. It'll measure your microamps in DC for your furnaces to get the flame sensor. It'll measure microfarads, so it determines whether or not your capacitors are any good. It also has a temperature gauge along with the accessories, and I'll show you how to do that. It'll measure the line set temperatures that you'll need to actually charge or determine if the system has the correct charge. It has a continuity check. That's very useful in determining whether switches are open or closed, especially for all the safety switches that are in there. You'll need to know what the default state is of those switches, whether it's open or closed, and then the continuity will tell you whether or not it's actually in that state. It also checks voltage in DC. Don't use that often. And it checks resistance, and that's great for checking motor windings. So you can check the resistance across the motor windings and make sure that the windings are the correct resistance, or adding up to the correct resistance across all the windings. So accessories for the multimeter would include a clamp-on style temperature probe. This is typically used for your low pressure line. You have a wire style. You want to put this, tape this to the high pressure line set. You can have either two of these or two of these. However, sometimes with the size of the sensor on the clamp-ons, it's not quite adequate for the high pressure line, since the line sets are a little bit smaller. So that's typically for your larger line. Something like this for your high pressure line, your smaller line. You'll also want some alligator clips for your voltage. This is very convenient when testing for high voltage, so that you can clamp your meter to the ends that you need to check, and then cut the power back on while your hands are free from the system. So alligator clips definitely must. You also can use some just some single point probes. This will be good for like capacitors and that sort of thing. And I always carry an extra extension for my two probes. So those are the accessories. That's the main tools that I use day in, day out as a service technician for HVAC.